Welcome to the quarantine show starring Mount Zion.
So welcome to this, I think, 6th episode of the Quarantine Show starring Mount Zion. Today, we have the opportunity to hear from Vicki Miesbauer, who is a longtime member of Mount Zion, is trying to think of all the different roles, is chair of the Missions and Evangelism Committee, is on worship committee, is probably most famous for her communion bread that we haven't gotten to enjoy in a while with the pandemic. So want to welcome Vicki and excited to have you share some things today.
Thanks. Good to be here. Happy Wednesday.
So a question before we get into some of the other things that I wanted to ask about and that people might be interested in is just how has the pandemic impacted you and your life, and I guess especially maybe your faith and how you engage and connect with that?
Well, I think we should all be so very thankful for technology, because I think, especially those of us who live alone, not only living alone, but I'm used to pretty much being on the go all the time. And I still go some, but I try and limit that. And in the past couple of weeks, when things have really gotten really bad, I've limited that even. I do walk, and I walk in my own neighborhood. So I do park my car at my son's house and get to social distance with my granddaughters, which is awesome, and my son too. My biggest worry and concern, of course, has been my parents. I'm fortunate enough at my age to have 2 living parents, and I know that's a blessing. But being that they are getting up in age, that's been a concern. Therefore, they have had neighbors that bring food and have been wonderful to them. And they've been here, and I can't talk them into just staying here. I know where I get my going from, I guess, because they are hard to keep down also. But yeah, so I guess that's been my biggest worry in all of this.
Yeah. But I know, I mean, you've been very dedicated anyway with their care and attention, but especially during this pandemic, I know that's been on your heart and on your mind a lot. So one of the things that I know I was interested in learning myself and having others have the chance to learn about is obviously your involvement with Clemson Community Care. So you chair the board for Clemson Community Care, and have been very involved in that. And I was just curious, when and how did you first get involved with Clemson Community Care?
Well, most of you know that I was the elementary counselor at Clemson Elementary for many years. And that's really how I got involved. Sort of some of the service projects that we started from way back when we used to have student councils even. We started doing the Spirit of Giving food drive around Thanksgiving. And it used to be a big competition between the schools, and finally somebody realized that Clemson Elementary was the biggest school, so everybody kind of fell out of the competition, which is fine. But I started out kind of that way, and getting to work with Clemson Community Care from the end of somebody who led food drives, I guess. But then even more so, as our relationship grew, we kind of turned into being 2 agencies that could help each other. And it kind of got to the point where if there was something I needed, if there was a family I knew about, if they needed to know something that I was able to share, we just really worked well together. And they were so helpful to the students and the families. of Clemson Elementary that I kind of vowed at one point, when I retire, that's where I'm going to spend my volunteer time. And it started out, I started working in the pantry, and they are such good arm twisters there. Karen, you are so good.
Almost like the church.
Oh yeah, they're good. And that's how I got on the board. And I mean, it just happened. Unfortunately now, I don't help when my husband got sick and everything, I kind of fell out of the pantry, doing that on a regular basis. And I still try and do it occasionally, but I don't go every Wednesday like I used to. And like John does every Wednesday, plus other things. But I do try and go to, and I love working in the pantry. And if you haven't ever had a chance to do that, when we do open up the volunteers, it's fun. It's something that's just fun, and meaningful, and a good use of your time.
Yeah, I know. I've enjoyed getting to learn more about what Clemson Community Care does and the help it provides and the ways it impacts lives. I know, I think kind of my introduction was last August, I think, near the start of the school year, and the big event with school supplies for students and meals and a meal for the family and things like that. It was just amazing to see how many people were being helped and supported and loved through that ministry.
I'm sorry. Our primary mission is food and shelter, of course. And all of the extra things we do with children are really outside of our mission, but we find them to be so helpful in so many ways. To begin with, it fills a need that we can provide, but it also helps us to get to know the clients a little better, and their children and families. We also do a Christmas party in December, and a lot of the same people come to the Christmas party. And at that party, each child is given a gift card. Like if you came in, you would get 2 gift cards for, I think it's $40 per child, for the parents to go and shop for them. And we have to kind of go on faith, of course, that all the money's going for the kids, but it's just sometimes needy people do get a lot of things, but they don't get the joy of shopping for their kids. And that's kind of a fun thing that I always enjoy doing.
Yeah. And so I know we had a brief conversation the other day about just the pandemic and how that's impacted things. And so I was just curious, what are some ways that that's impacted the work that Clemson Community Care does, as well as how has that maybe impacted some of the needs that you anticipate as we continue on through this season?
Well, in the first place, the way that things are done at Clemson Community Care has changed. Mm-hmm. Typically, a family that needs some help will come in and have an interview with an interviewer, and questions are asked just in terms of what they need. And also it might give an interviewer might have a chance to say, well, maybe you need to go to this service, or maybe let me help you apply for food stamps, or it's sort of the contact, not just the stopping point of whether or not you can apply or whether or not you qualify, but let's see if there are any other ways we can help and what can we do. Now all of that's done by phone and by car, mm-hmm. But even more so, every day in the pantry part of Clemson Community Care, we have probably, I don't know, I'm just ballparking it, 10 at least. Sometimes there's as many as 20 volunteers that come in, and as the food comes in, you check the date, you weigh it, because everything coming in and going out has to be weighed.
Right.
Weigh it, check the dates. We can't give away anything that's expired. That's part of the rules of the people above the nonprofits. Then shelf it and organize it. And then there's another group that bags things, and then another group that kind of passes out things. And of course, we've got the interviewers. We don't have any volunteers right now. I mean, zero. It's shut down to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And our 4 staff members have had to do all of it. And just in the past week or 2, we've started taking 1 volunteer a day. And that's helped a little bit. And it's just for safety. We don't want to be the place where, like you feel like we feel about the church. We don't want to be the place where I got corona.
Right.
And also just the risk factors for the staff. We have a staff member that's had some heart surgery and heart issues, and we can't endanger her. In fact, she comes in later in the day. She's our numbers person, and she's so gifted in that. And so she can do her work, some from home, and so kind of the pantry running has been with 3 people, and that's been a burden on those 3 people, time-wise and energy-wise, because there's a lot of bending and lifting and stooping and carrying, and it's hot now that it's hot. We have had lots of donations, which has been wonderful. Some people, I know we did a few Instacarts, and we have a wonderful lady that does all thank you notes for anything. If you've ever given anything there, Ms. Baker writes the most beautiful thank you notes, and that's a volunteer as well. But when we do Instacart, we don't get a name.
Right.
So that's kind of, we haven't liked that part, that we can't acknowledge different organizations as well as we used to. We've had a good many donations. Now, as far as how it's impacted, I guess it's a double-edged sword in a way. You know, when we don't have clients, I mean, our goal is to work ourselves out of a job. Mm-hmm. And we're sort of surprised. We have been sort of surprised that we haven't had as many clients as one would think, and what the press has sort of made us to believe, where they have people that are giving out tons and tons of food, and it may be that way in some places. But we feel like strongly that the money that's been given out, the unemployment and the money that's been given out to help, has really been helpful for our clients. Now, whether it's that way in California or New York, I don't know, but it has really helped our clients. However, that money is going to run out in about a week. Mm-hmm. And we expect, unfortunately, we're anticipating a big crowds. People needed that money and used that money, and in addition to that, some of the, like Duke Power, you had power forgiveness, you had rent forgiveness. We expect all of that to hit the wall. Right. And maybe some people just needed the money at the time for something other than rent and didn't pay the rent, but now there's 2 rents due. Yeah. Or 2 power bills due. And we do pay help with rent payments and utility bills. In fact, I think last year there were 82 families that we totally took care of the rent, and 345 families that we helped with utility bills and having power turned back on and things like that. And Duke Power works wonderfully with us. They're really good to work with. And some of the water companies are pretty strict about their, but they work well with us too. But we anticipate things blowing up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know one of the things that I've heard from people is when there was rent forgiveness and delays on having to pay certain bills, this idea that, oh, I'm in the clear, when in reality, no, that's still going to be due at a point. And so the need will continue to be great. Are there any needs either now or as you look ahead to a week from now and assistance dries up from other places where people can be helping and supporting what Clemson Community Care is doing for those needs that are going to come?
Well, I think that financially there's still going to be a great need, especially with, we can give away food donation, and we always are going to need food donations and food drive. But the financial part of helping people catch up with the other things, that's going to come too, like I said. And our church is really very good about supporting CCC. There are a couple of extra things. I don't know if people know this, but in Clemson, you can actually add a certain percentage to your water bill every month to, that giving just comes out with your water bill if you're paying online. But like I said, we've been really good about, our church is good about supporting, not only in finances, but in the board. We've got two board members, and both of us, Benji and I, are both in the executive part of the board. So sometimes when we're going around and introducing ourselves, we go and we tell our church. The board members, by the way, is made up of representatives from churches.
Okay.
Clemson Community Care was initially founded through an organization that Clemson had called Clemson Congregations in Touch.
Okay.
And it started out in the basement of the Baptist church, and then in a side building that now they have, that building's torn down. And it's evolved into what it is now. Just from that little core one meeting, a group of ministers got together and said, hey, we need this. And I think one of the beautiful things about it is the communication with other organizations, the ministers. If there's a need that we can't fill, so many times Karen will just call one of the churches, or maybe one of the churches has somebody that's saying, knocking on the door, we need this, or we need food, or we need money to, I know we've had somebody that came to our church and said they needed money to get to somewhere, Anderson, I guess. They didn't have any gas. Well, anyway, those kind of things that just come knocking on the door that you're not really sure about. And you're not really sure if it's somebody that's kind of scamming you. The churches keep kind of, particularly I know in Clemson, and it's growing to where now you're involved in, and they're ministers from Pendleton, because we serve Clemson Central and Pendleton now. And just being able to have a place where a two-way street that you can pick up the phone and say, well, we have this person in our congregation that is really needy. Is there anything you can do? Mm-hmm. And it may not be during our open hours.
Right.
And that communication is just so, and by the same token, Karen can say, oh, well, be very careful, because that person, so-and-so from the Baptist church just called and said they were there yesterday, or, not that those people don't have needs, because obviously if you're going around doing that, you have needs, but that's a way to kind of identify some of that and hopefully put a stop to it because the people that do that, they give our clients a bad name. I know that sounds
Right.
bad, but then they take away from people that are needy, especially if they're just being a scam,
Mhm.
and that happens. Not much,
Yeah.
but it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that in other places. And so, I mean, that communication piece I think is huge. And also, I mean, just thinking about it, all the churches that support Clemson Community Care, if we were operating on our own, we couldn't do what is able to be done by pooling resources together and having good, strong leadership at Clemson Community Care. So one of the things that with these previous episodes that we've done is I have encouraged you to support local business. And so like I've bought a gift card or a meal or whatever from these places. And so for today, with you sharing about Clemson Community Care, our family will make a donation to Clemson Community Care, and we encourage anybody who watches this to make a donation as well. And so hopefully we can support this wonderful thing that's going on in our area. So one other thing that we've been trying to accomplish is to give people something to smile about in the midst of what's a challenging season for a lot of folks. And so for anybody who happens to be watching, I had mentioned to you, Vicki, if you wanted to play a silly game, we could. If you didn't, I was fine with that as well. And your response was kind of, well, I want to play a silly game. And so you actually shared one that I had forgotten about that they've done on the Tonight Show. And do you even know the name of it? I couldn't think of the name of it.
No, I don't know the name of it.
So we don't know the name of it. But basically the way this works is that we each have selected 3 hymns from the hymnal just on our own. The other person does not know what those 3 are. And then we each selected 3 silly words that we gave the other person that they have to sing to the tune of that hymn that they've chosen. And so one of us will sing and the other one will try to guess what hymn it is with the really silly words. So I guess since I can embarrass myself first, if that's okay.
Okay.
Unless you want to get one of yours out of the way.
No, and let me just say, especially if my daughter-in-law's watching, who is so talented, her whole family, I can't sing. And I know that if she heard that I was singing, and when she is, she's going to go, oh my gosh. And I'm sorry to embarrass you. I'm going to tell you right now, Kristen, I'm so sorry. But you may not be able to guess because I can't sing. So
that's all right. You might not be able to guess because I'll be laughing at myself.
Well, there's that.
All right. So the word that Vicki sent me, the first word that you sent me was cheesecake.
Oh, wait.
For this hymn, I will be.
But it's backwards, isn't it?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
There's your word.
No, I don't have to type it on the screen. That's great. All right. So here's a hymn with the word cheesecake. Cheesecake, 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 cheese.
Jesus loves me.
You got it. All right.
Wow.
Got the easy one out of the way. All right.
Okay.
So what's your first word?
I get to pick. I didn't write down your words. I wrote down my words. Duh. But
Okay.
Okay, here it is. All right, got it?
All right. So what word are you using?
Guacamole.
All right. Guacamole.
Guacamole. Guacamole. Guacamole. Guacamole. Guacamole.
God bless America.
There you go.
All right.
I'm impressed that you got it.
All right. Nice. I know that tune, but the words don't sound right.
No. You want your other
All
word?
right. So my second word is fireworks. You got it. Works. Fireworks, 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 fireworks. Fireworks, fireworks, fireworks.
America the Beautiful?
So not America the Beautiful.
It wasn't God Bless America again, was
No.
it?
You want me to keep singing a little bit of
The
it?
national anthem?
No.
Dang.
That's not in the hymnal. So it was America, but it's my country, 'tis of thee.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew it was something patriotic.
Yes. All right,
Okay.
what you got next?
Communion bread.
Communion bread. All right.
Okay. Oh, this is a hard one. Wait. I have to have a sip of coffee. Okay. Communion bread, communion bread, communion bread, communion bread, communion bread.
And
I
are we
can't-
yet alive?
Huh?
And are we yet alive? Right?
Well, I don't know if that's another word for
And
this.
are we yet alive? Dun, da, 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 da.
Or blessed be the tie that binds.
Oh, yeah.
We
We did
just
that this past week. It's funny.
Just last week. Ooh,
Yes.
we didn't think about the issue of different hymns to different songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Hymn tunes.
To different tunes.
You're good. Yeah. Blessed be the tie that binds. Awesome. All right. So my last one is the word peach milkshake.
One of my favorites.
Yes. All right. Let's see here. Peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake.
Let every heart repair you.
It's hard to come up with the title when you're hearing peach milkshake over and over, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I know I know it. It's a Christmas one.
Yeah. Peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake, peach milkshake.
Glory to the world.
Joy to the world. You got it. Christmas in July. All right.
Okay, this is going to be a hard one. But the word is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Etienne, is that how we say
Etienne.
it? Etienne?
Yep, for Travis Etienne. All right.
Okay. I probably should have chosen a different song. Etienne, 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 Etienne.
Morning has broken.
There you go.
You're good. Don't let anyone tell you can't sing. I could guess those tunes even with the wrong words. It was great.
That was a good game.
Yeah, that was good. We'll have to, we might have to bring that out in church sometime. Awesome. So thanks for, I know I enjoyed that and gave me something to laugh about.
I'm surprised that we could do it without laughing. It was hard to not
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah. Yeah, I've actually been practicing like all day. Haven't. Well, thank you for that idea and for being willing to do that game together. Again, I want to remind folks, please, if you can, make a donation to Clemson Community Care. And if you can't, there's still ways that we can support the good work that they do.
And we now have a donation button on the website, which is kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
And I meant to put that website. But
I'll put it. I can add it to the screen.
I
Sorry.
got into the game.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
fine.
want to thank everybody at Mount Zion for the support that we do have for Clemson Community Care. There's a lot of caring folks, and it's a great mission to get behind. And on behalf of Community Care, I would like to thank everybody that does do donations, and keep it up.
Yeah, Well, thank you, Vicki, for the work you do with Clemson Community Care. Thank you for the many things you do with Mount Zion, and for, again, your willingness to share a little bit about that today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do.
All right.
Have a good day.
We'll see you on the other side of the screen sometime.
Okay, good. Looking
Bye.
forward to it. Bye-bye.